Welcome, everybody. My name is Frank Benske. I'm from the product management for application lifecycle management at SAP, especially in the area of operations topics. And today, together with my colleague Patrick Richards, we will present you the topic operations automation and intelligent event processing with SAP Cloud ALM for operations. Okay, yeah, let's get started. As you have heard in the introduction and overview sessions about Cloud ALM for operations, where Cloud ALM for operations consists of multiple microservices, which provides the functionality. And the topic we are talking today about, intelligent event processing, is in the center point of all of these microservices. It's about handing over the information which has been processed, the events which has been generated by the different monitoring applications to the right outbound channels and bring them to the user in the best way and in the way how the user, the customer would like to consume these events. Let's talk about a bit what is an event in Cloud ALM. So event is defined in our Cloud ALM for operations as something which happened in the landscape and which is of importance. In context of the cloud landscape, this could be that you have issues in a data flow between various cloud services. So you have a data replication between an S4 on-premise on a cloud system and a CPI and the cloud platform integration. Or you have a large backlog in certain business processes spanning across various cloud services. Some of your own developed cloud services, some of your deployed applications in the business technology platform have a critical health status. Or some cloud services has a critical health status. And also what could be an event in our context could be that there's an upcoming maintenance scheduled for one or the other cloud service which you have a subscription booked to. Intelligent event processing in this context, as I said, it's the centerpiece of the different applications. It's the central intelligence which enables an efficient communication between our internal event providers as well as external event providers. So there are also plans to provide an open inbound API so that you can feed in events from external sources directly without using any monitoring use case into intelligent event processing, and provides a unified runtime and a unified configuration feeling for defining what should happen with the events. If such an event occurs, what then in the end should happen, how the event should be forwarded to the relevant consumers. Should it be sent as an alert email? Should it be open up as a message in your chat tool? Should it be open up as a ticket in your ticket system, and so on and so forth? The intelligent event processing for this provides a centralized and a decentralized configuration. So you are able to configure each event directly with the settings when you create when you define the event settings. So, for example, you define the filters, what kind of message channels you want now to monitor, and in which circumstances you want to raise events. You can then already define what really happens with this event. Or you can use a central UI where you have the capability to have a bit broader filtering capability, so you can filter them across multiple defined events and define what happens with the event also from where. The intelligent event processing will further on also provide the foundation for the intelligent correlation of events. So especially in some situations where events are flooding the landscape. So for example, you have a certain infrastructure issue, and then based due to this infrastructure issue, you have a lot of business application issues. It is not useful to send all these business application issues individually to all the individual recipients, but then in such cases, it's better to group them all together, solve the infrastructure issue first, and then handle in a summarized activity all the individual issues which happens in the individual applications caused by this, which are not automatically solved by solving the infrastructure issue, for example. And also this foundation will be built based on intelligent event processing. The reason for this, why we have decided so, is in the end, what we do not want to achieve, what we do not want it is that each application defines now the outbound channels on his own, and also to provide the capability to have cross-application event correlation. Which event sources are up to now available for the intelligent event processing in Cloud ALM? Those are the 4 monitoring use cases which are already live and creating alerts in Cloud ALM. It's integration and exception monitoring, the business process monitoring, job and automation monitoring, and health monitoring. As well as there's a specific case, we already consume events from an external provider, in this case from the business technology platform. We are consuming events from the alert notification service. So also those events can be forwarded to the intelligent event processing inside of Cloud ALM and then processed in a unified way and forwarded to the respective outbound channels. From the outbound side, we provide the outbound configuration as set, directly embedded into the event configuration. So this is an example here from the integration monitoring UI. Here's an example on defining an event based on AIF messages. As said, we have on the top of the screen the definition of the event, which is tightly bound to the different monitoring applications. So those event definitions will look different in different applications. In this case here, we have decided that it's based on the AIF messages. Erroneous messages means messages which has a processing error. There's also already a decision that this should be a grouped event. So this is based on the selection, which was on a previous screen. And we want to get we want to raise an alert when the messages are older than 0 minutes. You can also define to give some time, give some reprocessing time before the error really will go down to operations and create events. This is, as said, this is the part of the application specific filter and event definition settings, and they will look different in the different applications, very specific to the different use cases. And then you can define what happens with the event in case it happens, in case it occurs. This is the so-called downstream action UI. And with this downstream action UI, currently you have 4 different capabilities. This will be over the time also enhanced. So the capabilities are not static and are not yet fully available. Currently, we have here available those 4 capabilities as shown here. So you can decide to create an alert, send emails, start an operations flow, or create a ServiceNow ticket. I will explain more in detail what exactly this means in the next slides. If you define here some of the activities or some of the outbound channels in the background, based on those decisions you are doing here in the UI, we are creating rules for the intelligent event processing rule engine, which are then applied at the runtime to the individual events. The same kind of configuration for the downstream activities is also available as part of the intelligent event processing application, where you are not defining events based on an individual event configuration like here, where you have the capability to filter on a more broader scope. And for example, say for all of the events happening in job and automation monitoring, you want to forward them to a central group, which is responsible in your landscape for job and automation management. And then you can do this also directly in the central application. You don't have to do this for each and every event individually. You can do this also in the central application. Let's have a deeper look on the different outbound channels. First, let's start with the outbound channel create alert. If you switch it on, then it means in case of an event happens in the respective monitoring use case in Cloud ALM for operations, an alert is raised in the respective alert inbox. With Cloud ALM for operations, we have decided not to have a cross-use case alert inbox. Each use case brings his own alert inbox. So you have a different view in business process monitoring, where you only see the alerts from business process monitoring. Then, for example, in integration and exception monitoring, where all the alerts from integration and exception monitoring are visible. But where the alerts are not shared across the different applications, so they are always application specific and use case specific. In case this activity is switched on and you decide to activate one of the further downstream channels, so for example, like sending an email notification to somebody, this email notification will also contain a link back to Cloud ALM for operations and this to the alert inbox of the respective use case. So if you are then in a notification, receive it in your email inbox, you can directly jump in back to Cloud ALM and open all the details about this specific event in the alert inbox in Cloud ALM. This alert from our side is the workable representation of the events. So whenever you want to do something with an event, whenever you want to get more details on an event situation which happens in your landscape, you should decide to create such an alert. It is optional to create such an alert, so it's not necessarily that you create an alert for each and every event. You can also decide not to create one. And in the alert inbox, you can then also work with the alert. You can, for example, assign a processor to it, and you can jump from the alert to different detailed analysis views to analyze the issue in more details. And for the most recent instances of the same alert, you can also have a look on the time history. So you see also how often such kind of an event happened in the past. So you can see if this is a one-time issue or if it's a repetitive pattern which happens multiple times in your landscape. The next outbound channel I'm talking about is the sending an email notification. If this email notification is switched on and you add a valid email recipient to this outbound channel, then each time the event situation occurs or the status of the event situation changes, means, for example, where the event situation was rated with yellow and now situation got worse and now it's rated red, then you also get an update about this event situation. An email notification to all the recipients which are maintained in the configuration is sent. It is important that an email notification always can only be sent to validated email recipients. So means the recipient must have been added to our Cloud ALM notification management, and the recipient need to actively approve sending of email from this Cloud ALM tenant to his personal email inbox. This is a two-step approach. So one administrator needs to add the user. If you are a Cloud ALM user, this is already done. So with adding your user ID to Cloud ALM as an active user, you are automatically enlisted into the email recipient list. But then after this, you get a verification email where you have to confirm that you allow SAP to send you emails for email notifications on behalf of this Cloud ALM tenant. Such an email notification can also be triggered manually. So if you are in the alert inbox and want to inform a colleague or an expert about this event so that he can have a look on it, you can also trigger it directly from an alert from the alert inbox, manually add the email ID of the recipient, and the email is then sent to the recipient. As said, If an alert for an event exists, we will also provide here a link to the alert inbox. And in some cases, there's also a second link provided, which is not jumping into the alert inbox, but also to the monitoring application. This is especially helpful if you decide, for example, not to create links, not to create alerts, and you only want to create tickets. In such cases, you can then use the jump back from the ticket to the monitoring application to see in detail what happens in the system. Third option, what we have as an outbound channel, is the create ticket option. With the with the switch create service now ticket, if you have this switched on, then each time an event occurs, a new ticket is created in your ticket system. This is actually out of the box service now, but you can also create tickets in other systems by creating according mapping files for the API on the API layer. Major updates to the event situation, like rating changes similar to the email notification, are forwarded to the ticket system and can then accordingly update the ticket information. And also in case of closures of the event situation, we are able to confirm or to update the ticket that the event in Cloud ALM has been solved, and that the ticket processor can do the needful to close the ticket. So it depends on the ITSM processes of the customer. You can either directly confirm the ticket, or you can just add an additional information in the ticket from Cloud ALM that the issue has been solved. The rating for the situation is now green. Please close the ticket. And of course, if you decide to go for this integration, of course, we also want a bidirectional integration. Means that if the processor decides to confirm the ticket, we would also like to have the callback, which is already available, so that if you set the ticket to solution provided in ServiceNow, have a callback to Cloud ALM to also confirm the event situation, to make sure that in case there are new issues coming up for the same topic, it is detected that this is now a new issue and will accordingly raise a new ticket. The complete API mapping between our standard definition between our API structure for events and the API structure from the ticket system is managed in so-called resource notification subscriptions. So such a resource notification is in the end, it's a one-to-one mapping between the fields which are part of the inbound of our API definition and maps then to the respective fields of the target API definition. There are different capabilities provided with this mapping. So you can have a field mapping, means field A is then field X in the target system, or you can provide fixed values, or you can provide value translation via value translation tables. So for example, we have ratings and priorities like low, medium, high. Other systems might use instead a numerical system, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for priorities. And with a mapping table, you can then define that low is 1 and so on and so forth. This can be individual customized, and Cloud ALM provides the capability of having an out-of-the-box integration with ServiceNow. So all you need to do to create a ticket in ServiceNow is you have to create a destination with the respective API user. And the complete mapping file and so on is part of the Cloud ALM delivery and can be used out of the box and will provide you the creation of a ticket in a standardized way. Last but not least, and this is then also the handover point to my colleague, to Patrick, is the outbound channel start operation flow, which allows you to trigger an external operation flow in external operation automation environment with different automation engines. And what kind of capabilities we have here, this will be now answered by my colleague Patrick.
So let's drill deeper into operations automations. First of all, we have a look at the big picture of SAP Cloud ALM for operations. Here we see here in the middle of everything, we see is intelligent event processing, and then basically we see the different outbound capabilities that intelligent processing can trigger. And one of them is for operations automation. The operations automation belongs to the problem resolution capabilities, and as an outbound integration, it can trigger so-called operation flows. What are operation flows? These are problem resolution procedures or standard operational procedures triggered by SAP Cloud ALM. Yeah, and they support the faster resolution of detected problems through automated or so-called operation flows. It supports standardized and reproducible execution because they are always executed in the same way and generate an audit trail. And they can very flexibly be adapted to new customers' needs because they are always designed in a low code or no code fashion. So operations automation in SAP Cloud ALM integrates with different automation engines. So first, from SAP Build Process Automation, it integrates with SAP Workflow Management, which allows you to automate problem resolution and operational procedures, which require a mixture of manual and automated tasks and eventual whatever decision or approval steps. As a second operations automation engine, SAP Cloud ALM integrates with SAP Intelligent Robotic Process Automation to automate manual repetitive tasks by UI automation. And as a third capability today, it supports the integration with SAP Automation Pilot to automate DevOps tasks. Important to know is the following. SAP Cloud ALM does not come with workflow management or intelligent robotic process automation or automation pilot. Basically, they all need to be subscribed separately. So if you or your customer wants to use operations automation, they need to subscribe to their own either automation pilot or workflow management or intelligent RPA service. In addition to SAP Cloud ALM. Let's look a little bit more deeper into the different capabilities of the different process automations engines that are supported by SAP Cloud ALM. First, with SAP Workflow Management. Yeah, it's a part of SAP Build Process Automation, and it allows you to create forms, manage decision logics, and build and adapt and organize process flows with simple drag and drop functionalities. It comes with several capabilities. The workflow editor, which is where you can create workflows in a low-code fashion. Then business rules, where you can encapsulate and define business rules. The process variant editor, which is a real no-code solution where you can simply drag and drop your workflows together. And the last but not least, the process visibility application where you can get some insights on how many workflows were executed, how many approvals were done, and so on and so on. So what are the benefits of SAP Workflow Management? Okay, you can do more with less because employees are empowered through process automation, and this frees up the time to do more meaningful work. It ensures compliance, allows you to comply with policy and regulations, via clear responsibilities and audit trails. It can be very flexibly adapted to new requirements. Because as I said before, it's designed in a no-code or low-code fashion. Second capability that SAP Cloud ALM supports to trigger operation flows is SAP Intelligent Robotic Process Automation. which is also part of SAP Build Process Automation. It allows you to automate repetitive manual tasks. Yeah, automate UIs. Yeah, and it also provides scaling options. It comes with a workflow designer where you can build your own bots that automate UIs. And yeah, and you can declare all application screens. You can also record UI interaction and then edit it so that it can be automated. And you can combine it together with workflows and yeah, and then also debug and enrich the generated bot script. It also comes with a bot monitoring application that allows you to see which automations or bots were triggered and whether they could execute the task successfully or not. And with the option to reprocess it if it has failed. So what are the benefits? It allows you to reduce repetitive manual activities. Yeah. Yeah. It increases operational speed and efficiency to respond to customer needs. Yeah. And it supports efficient operations. Third capability, what I would like to talk about is SAP Automation Pilot. It allows you to automate repetitive DevOps tasks with ease and without coding. And it provides operations experts with predefined content and also a no-code ability to automate the manual operations for their SAP Business Technology Platform services that they have subscribed to. Yeah. And basically these and the commands that are provided by Automation Pilot can be executed automatically, triggered from a certain event, for example, from SAP Cloud ALM, yeah, or in regular intervals. Yeah, and SAP Automation Pilot is again a low-code, no-code automation engine. It allows you to model and execute automated sequences and allows you to execute scripts in serverless manner. Provides a catalog of predefined commands that you can use out of the box or adapt to your needs. And it addresses the use case of daily operations, of alert resolution, lifecycle management, scheduled maintenances, or many more. Okay, let's have a look at some demos so that you see this live in action. First demo scenario I would like to explain before I go into the application. So we have a customer who has configured lead transfer scenario. Lead transfers are created in Marketing Cloud, and at a certain stage, when they are transferred to SAP Cloud for Customer via the SAP Integration Suite as a middleware. As this is an important interface scenario, the customer is using SAP Cloud ALM integration monitoring to monitor the health of this scenario. So let's have an overview before we go into the details. So the customer is using integration and exception monitoring to monitor the health of the scenario. As soon as an issue is detected, for example, stuck messages, integration and exception monitoring triggers an event to intelligent event processing. As part of the problem routing capabilities. Intelligent event processing then triggers several outbound channels. For example, it creates a ticket in an external ITSM tool. It can send an email notification to predefined recipients. And in this example, it can also trigger an alert. So now in my scenario, here basically the alert processor goes from the mail into the alert, and triggers manually, but this could also be done automatically from the event, an operations flow of type SAP Intelligent Robotic Process Automation to automatically resolve the incident. Let's look at the system for this. So here I'm in integration and exception monitoring. Just need to, in SAP Cloud, just need to reload the page. So here I have my lead transfer scenario. Let's have, which consists out of the 3 services that I showed earlier in the slides. Let's have a look at the configuration. Yeah. So here we have created a business service, which consists out of the 3 services that are part of his interface. Marketing Cloud as a source of leads, the integration suite as a middleware to transfer leads, and the SAP Cloud for Customer service as a receiver of leads. Yeah. For this scenario, we monitor the following events: erroneous messages AAF detected grouped. Let's have a look at the event configuration, at the outbound configuration. This is now the same view that Frank already showed in his slides. Event status is on. We monitor messages older than n minutes, so equals to 0 means we raise an event as soon as we detect one message, and we don't wait if the message gets resolved after 5 minutes or so automatically. And then we trigger the following downstream actions. Automatically, we create an alert, or SAP Cloud ALM creates an alert. It sends an email to Frank and Patrick. Here in this case, in this example, start operation flow or the automatic start of operation flow triggered from the event is switched off. And we also create automatically a ticket. And here we have defined a subscription service now incident. Now, for this scenario, I, as an integration owner, have received a mail from SAP Cloud ALM notifications, erroneous messages detected for the service name lead transfer. And here I see some technical details, and the rating is error. And from this mail, I can directly jump into the alert in SAP Cloud ALM. So what I see here is, here are 5. Here we see the list of messages that are the messages in error status that are detected. They went into error status directly in the source system in the marketing cloud. Yeah, so here's some technical error. We have 5 messages for this. We can also see from here basically that ServiceNow ticket has been created. You can see the ticket is already in progress. I can directly jump into the ticket in the ServiceNow system. Now I'm logging on to ServiceNow. And sooner or later, I can see the ticket which was created by ServiceNow. Yeah. So here we see the same details as in the alert. We see also basically we also have a link to the alert in the ticket which was created automatically, and I can see that one of my colleagues already has worked on the ticket and provided an update. He said basically there was a problem in one of the communication scenarios, and he has fixed the communication scenario. But as a second step, basically what we need to do is we need to restart the messages, yeah, because the messages are still stuck in error status. And now, after the communication scenario was fixed, the restart of the messages should ensure that they are transferred successfully to the Cloud for Customer system. So let's go back to SAP Cloud ALM. So now what I can do is I can jump into my marketing cloud directly and reprocess the messages one by one. But I'm a lazy guy and I would like to avoid manual repetitive tasks. Therefore, we have defined an operation flow of type SAP Intelligent RPA that will do the job for me. So I select actions start operation flows. And here we have an operation flow reprocess AIF messages of type SAP Intelligent RPA, and I will start it now. What this Intelligent RPA bot will do, it will log onto the marketing cloud. It will open the message monitor, and it will click on the selected on the messages and error status that are defined here in the alert, and it will select and reprocess message one by one. And this happens also. This happens on a dedicated Windows server where an IRPA, Intelligent RPA agent is installed. Everything under the hood. So let's have a look. So here we see that the operation flow reprocess AF messages was started. Since that was success, let's have a look at the instance ID. So here we can jump into the Intelligent RPA tenant and can have a look at some more details of the execution of this thing. And here we see it is also in status completed. We can see it was executed on a host CCWDF blah 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 under a specific username. You can also see that from SAP Cloud ALM. We passed some context information to this bot. I'm not sure. Okay, I'm not sure why the UI does. It should show. Normally, it should show the context information that we passed from SAP Cloud ALM. Okay, maybe I don't know. Okay, but let's have a look at the back into the messages. So if you look at the messages, there should be a refresh. I need to do a refresh. And we see that the messages already have a status green. This means they were transferred successfully. After my colleague fixed the communication problem via the ticket, and after I triggered the operation flow to reprocess the messages. So the last action I need to do is I need to confirm this alert. Yes. So let's go back to the slides. I have a second demo scenario. Slides. Demo scenario 2. Our customer is also using some SAP HANA Cloud instances, which are used, which he uses for his own developed BTP applications. And basically, our customer is using health monitoring in SAP Cloud ALM to monitor the health of his databases. It's very similar. So we monitor the SAP HANA Cloud database this time with health monitoring in SAP Cloud ALM, where we check the database availability event. And if we detect an anomaly, our health monitoring will trigger an event to intelligent event processing. Intelligent event processing will, in this case, send an email notification. It will create an alert, and it will automatically trigger an operations automations. And here we will trigger an operation flow of type SAP automation pilot, which tries to restart the databases. So let's have a look at this scenario one moment. Okay, so here, unfortunately, I have only a recording of this. So let's have a look at health monitoring. And here in health monitoring, we see basically that health monitoring monitors the SAP HANA Cloud database. Let's have a look at the configuration for this event. Here we see basically alerting is active, data collection is active, and here if you look in the details, we see that the event database accessibility is being monitored. Yeah. We've activated alerts, emails, and operation flows. and in the details. Again, we can see alerting is enabled, email is enabled. Here we trigger an operation flow automatically of type SAP automation pilot, and the name is Start HANA Cloud Instances. The Start HANA Cloud Instance. This is one of the commands that SAP Automation Pilot provides out of the box. So let's have a look what happens. Here I received again a mail from SAP Cloud ALM. Now this time it's a health monitoring event, and from the email I can jump directly into the alert again. So in the alert, I can see the following information. I can see that the current rating of the alert is green. I can also see that the database was red, which means it was not available for a certain amount of time, but after some minutes it turned back to green. And we can have a look at the actions for this alert. What was triggered. So the alert was created when basically automatically the operation flow Start HANA Cloud instance was triggered, and when also more or less at the same time an email notification was sent to the defined recipients that is defined in the outbound action. We can also have a look at the operation automation logs, and we see that the operation flow of type automation pilot Start HANA Cloud instance was triggered automatically, and the current status is finished. From here, we can also jump into the automation pilot tenant, and we can see some details about the triggered command. Here, that the command Start HANA Cloud instance was triggered, that the status is finished, and yeah, more or less that's all, because here everything went fine. And so we see that the problem was resolved automatically with the use of automation pilot, and we only have to close the alert. Okay, so that concludes my second demo. Let's go back to the slide deck. So a short outlook. So we continuously try to deliver new functionality. We will plan to offer also event logs, with that we can see, with that we can check which events, which outbound actions were triggered for which events and how many events were triggered. We will support to process events from business service management, like reaction to disruptions or degradations or maintenances. And we will continue on developing additional outbound channels like event to chat integration. Yeah. What did we learn? Yeah. Intelligent event processing processes operational events from SAP Cloud ALM monitoring applications. Intelligent event processing triggers outbound channels alert, email, operations automation, and ticket. And it will support additional the event sources and outbound channels in the future. Now let's come to operations automation. Operations automation supports resolution of detected problems through automated operation flows. To achieve this, operations automation integrates with SAP Build Workflow Management, SAP Intelligent RPA, and SAP Automation Pilot. But all of these services are not part of SAP Cloud ALM, but need to be subscribed extra. If operations automations should be used, at least one of these services need to be available for the customer in addition. So that's it. Thank you. So here you see our contact information in case you have additional questions.